Have you ever been asked to do something that felt completely absurd? Something that made no sense at all? Imagine being told to build a massive boat hundreds of miles from the nearest ocean in a world that had never even seen rain. This is the story of Noah. It's a story many of us know, but maybe not in the way we think. Genesis tells us the world had become a dark and violent place. But God found one man, Noah, and gave him a set of instructions that were, to put it mildly, bizarre. God said, "The end has come. I'm going to bring a flood of waters upon the earth to destroy everything." And Noah, a farmer, not a shipbuilder, just whispered, "A flood." Then came the blueprints. God said, "Make yourself an ark of gopher wood." He specified the exact dimensions: 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. Let's put that in perspective. A cubit is about the length of your forearm. So this ark would be longer than a football field and stand about 5 stories tall. It was a colossal, windowless box designed for a catastrophe no one could even imagine. And that wasn't all. God told Noah to bring his family, 2 of every kind of animal, and enough food for everyone. Noah stood there, a lifetime of farming etched into his hands, and simply had to process this. Build a giant boat, gather every animal, prepare for a world-ending rainstorm that didn't exist in anyone's experience. Can you imagine the conversation he had to have with his wife that day? "Honey, what are you doing?" "Building what?" "An ark." The confusion, the doubt must have been overwhelming. A boat here, a flood. Noah, what will the neighbors say? And Noah's response cuts right to the heart of faith. He simply said, "It doesn't matter what they say, God said it. I must build it." And so it began. His sons, Ham, Shem, and Japheth, came home from the fields to find their father starting this ridiculous project. At first, they were baffled, but Noah explained that a judgment was coming, and with it, a promise of salvation for their family. Slowly, they joined in. For the next 100 years, the sound of hammering filled the air, and with it, the sound of laughter. People would walk by and mock them. "Hey Noah, found your sea yet?" "Forecasting a storm, old man. Not a cloud in the sky." It was a century of obedience and a lifetime of ridicule. Noah's sermon wasn't just words. It was the giant, foolish-looking monument he was building in his front yard. It was a testament to a faith that made absolutely no sense to the world. Think about the sheer mental fortitude that took waking up every day, picking up a hammer, and continuing to build something everyone tells you is crazy, all because you trust the voice you heard. 100 years. His sons grew up, found wives, and started families of their own, all while living in the shadow of this project. Finally, the ark was finished. The family stood there, exhausted, emotionally drained from the constant scorn. Noah's wife looked at him, her heart aching, and asked, "Are you sure?" And Noah, without any logical proof, could only say, "God said." The time is near, and then it happened. A deep rumbling sound. God's voice came again, gentle this time. "Go into the ark, you and all your household. For in 7 days I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights. They entered the ark. Noah turned for one last look at the perfectly dry, sunlit world, and then the door was sealed. The first drops of rain began to fall, a pitter-patter that grew into a deafening roar. Outside, the sounds of panic were swallowed by the sound of rushing water. For 40 days and nights, the rain fell. For months, they floated on the water, a tiny vessel of hope in a world being washed clean. Noah obeyed when it didn't make sense, and that obedience wasn't just about saving himself. It was about preserving a future for humanity. When they finally stepped out onto dry ground, the world was fresh and new. And the very first thing Noah did wasn't to build a house for himself, but an altar to worship God. And God placed a rainbow in the sky, a beautiful, colorful promise that he would never again destroy the earth in that way. The story of Noah Sark Isnt, just a cute children tale with animals marching to Butu. It's a radical story about adult faith. It challenges us to ask ourselves, what is God calling me to build? What is he asking me to do that might look foolish to the world? Where is he asking for my obedience before he gives me the full explanation? Faith isn't about having no questions. It is about having a trust so deep that you're willing to pick up a hammer and start building. even when the sky is clear and blue. As it says in Hebrews, by faith Noah, being warned by God concerning events as yet unseen, in reverent fear constructed an ark for the saving of his household. What is your ark? Thanks for watching. If this story resonated with you, hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores faith in our modern world. See you next time.